Show me. Where's the shadow?
Here.
Oh, yes, shadow in the glass. Oh, we're on.
Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda. Welcome to
The Growth
Academy.
Academy.
108.
108. I'm Jen. And today we're going to talk about ego, which reminds me of that song, Skyhook song. Ego is not a dirty word. Ego is not a dirty word. Ego is not, don't you believe what you see or you've heard. Actually, if you want to read Eckhart Tolle, he's going to say ego isn't a good thing at all. So,
But that's the exact opposite to what you just said.
no, well, that's right. Ego is a dirty word, is what I'm trying to say. It's a naughty. Ego's a naughty things. So, Eckhart Tolle, a spiritual advisor, he speaks of the ego. What do you know of the ego, Amanda?
I think Freud. Because didn't he
what did he say about it?
He talked about the ego, the super ego, and the id.
Oh.
And the id's the unconscious or something. I don't know. It's all very.
What was the super ego?
Well, in this book, it talks about the super ego being the part of the self that is the people pleaser, kind of.
That's the super ego.
That's the super ego.
It wouldn't. Yeah, right. Okay. So I'm suggesting.
So not super as good. Super as in it comes over the top to tell.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that's what you were
and
thinking.
the id? Yeah, I am.
The id is
identity or
unconscious desires. I think it is, isn't
unconscious desire.
I haven't thought about this since uni.
Wow.
So this is, yeah.
We're going to come back to this because this is a topic that I'm really fascinated about, but I'm going to have to get you to do some more reading on what Freud reckons. Okay?
I'm not going to read on Freud.
Oh, come.
No.
I'm counting on you.
Freud has been discredited.
He has.
We're in a more modern era where we have much more understanding of the brain and how it works.
Yeah, that's true. True that.
True that.
So Eckhart Tolle or Eckhart Tolle. I like saying Eckhart Tolle. It's spelled Tolle, and some people say Tolle, some people say Tolle. I don't really know what it is. But Eckhart, he explains that we are not our ego. Essentially, ego has been formed by man and thinking, man's mind. So in fact, if you can sit in silence and with the understanding that you're part of the universe, part of the sky, the planet, the trees, the birds, etc., you are more atoms, the same atoms that builds everything else within the world, the negative and positive atoms and energies I was talking about in a previous video or vlog. If you understand that that's who you are, then what's talking now is an ego. It's the mind. It's a man-made entity that we live with. Okay. I'm going to read a passage from Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, which I thoroughly recommend. It's just, I mean, other than my time in India and growing up and building philosophies and everything in India in my 20s, this book, amongst many, but this one stands out as the best way for me to be, just to be, which is the id, to be. Okay. So I'm going to read this little bit out here on page 45 about how Eckhart Tolle explains the ego, because egos can cause us a great deal of problems, can cause us a great deal of stress. So that's why we're doing this segment. Okay. So an intrinsic part of the egoic mind is a deep-seated sense of lack or incompleteness. It's of not being whole. In some people this is conscious, and in others it's unconscious. If it's conscious, it manifests as the unsettling and constant feeling of not being worthy or good enough, because you compare yourself to others. We don't need to, because we're all the same. We're all made of the same stuff. Right? What makes us individuals is our choices, but we're all made of the same stuff. If it is unconscious, it will only be felt indirectly as an intense craving, wanting and needing. In either case, people will often enter into a compulsive pursuit of ego gratification and things to identify with in order to fill this hole they feel within. So they strive after possessions, money, success, power, recognition, or a special relationship, basically so that they can feel better about themselves and feel more complete. But even when they attain all these things, they soon find out that the hole is still there, that it's bottomless. Then they are really in trouble because they cannot delude themselves anymore. Well, they can and they do, but it gets more difficult. So what he's saying here is that as long as the egoic mind is running your life, you cannot truly be at ease. You cannot be at peace or fulfilled, except for brief intervals when you obtain what you wanted, and when a craving has just been fulfilled. Since the ego is a derived sense of self, it needs to identify with external things. It needs to be both defended and fed constantly. The most common ego identifications have to do with possessions, the work you do, social status and recognition, knowledge and education, physical appearance, special abilities, relationships, personal and family history, belief systems, and often political, nationalistic, racial, religious, and other collective identifications. None of these, though, are really you. So if we're all operating on the ego, if we are operating on the ego, then we're comparing ourselves to others. Like, he's got a nicer car, I want to get a nicer car. Everyone's got a house, I should have a house. Look how much prestige he gets coming, driving that Jaguar. Maybe I should have a Jaguar.
How do I look? How much money do I have?
Right. The
to
magazines. Oh, I'm too fat. I'm too skinny. I'm too tall. I'm too short. I'm not blonde enough. I'm not. Whatever it is. My hair's not long enough. These are all challenges that this is all egoic thinking, all of it. Now we've all got this, and we're all doing this, and it's just part of living on this dimension, in this life now. What I'd like to make you aware of in this segment, in this vlog segment on the ego, is that there are two parts to you. One of them is the real and the true self, which is no less than the stars, the moon, the sky, and the earth. That you are made up of the same negative and positive energies, or atoms, or cells, or whatever that the rest of the planet is made of. And just like a flower who can just sit in the earth, grow and bloom and die, as do we. But the unfortunate, the demise of a human is that we have a brain or a mind, and that brain and mind has developed too strong in that it takes over just being. Instead of us just being like a lot of the fourth world peoples on this planet, they know how to just live with the earth, they just know how to be with the earth, like our Indigenous Australians. They crave going back to just being with the earth. They're not surviving in this egoic world. A lot of them don't find a way or a path through this egoic world. What do you think, Amanda?
Wow, that's pretty full on. I think, yeah. What is your essential self?
And Amanda, you talked about early on in an earlier segment. You talked about sitting down, being with the trees, with the birds, and just going out in nature, and how much better you feel, and being there in the now. That is when you're not connecting with ego.
Yep.
That's when you dismiss the ego, you dismiss the thinking, you dismiss, I've got to do this work and earn this amount of money to buy that car, and compare yourself with all this other stuff that's going on, all this other egoic stuff that's happening in the world around you.
It's just
you can dismiss it. It's just not important. It's just dismissed while you're at the beach and you're throwing the ball at the dog, and you're being in the now and you're being in the nature. How much happier are you when you're not in the ego?
Yeah, true.
Right?
Where you don't care what you look like, and you don't care how much money's in the bank, and you don't care what car you drive or where.
It's natural and it's free. Strive to be without the ego. Strive to be without the ego, because that is where you'll find your true happiness, your true purpose, and your freedom. Yeah? So look at it like this.
observe the person talking right now. Right now, I know that this is my ego talking here now. Okay, I know that. I know that because I'm talking about something that I think I know something about, and that's pretty egoic of me. But I know that there's a sense of self behind watching this person, watching and listening to this person speak, this ego speak, this person's mind working. Okay, that person, that real me, is sitting behind observing all of this. So the more that you recognize your egoic self and put distance between your egoic self and you, the happier you're going to be. And you'll find, look into Eckhart Tolle, look into his work. His work just explains it all so beautifully. And honestly, I've done a lot of reading prior to now about how to be, and I've done the soul searching, I've set up mountains, I've travelled the world, I've trekked here and trekked there, and meditated, and I've done so many different meditation courses and Reiki courses and all things. And Eckhart Tolle for me sums up everything I've ever learned over many, 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 many years. So you can cut through the crap and get straight to reality right here. And this is all, really all you need.
Yeah.
Okay?
And the other day, I don't know if you wanted to say some more there, but when we were talking about that quote, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water.
Oh, I love that.
After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. I just...
Yeah, I think
life
that
is
is
just
marvellous.
life,
Yeah.
The basics of life are the same.
So because, at the end of the day, like there's a lot of people today also, they don't want to be in this treadmill that we've talked about. So they want their freedom back. And they don't want to be, always operating in the egoic world, because it's what is this, like tiger eat tiger, isn't it? It's like it's a jungle out there.
It's
you hear that expression? It's competitive. It's a jungle out there. It's tough work. It's stressful. You're always trying to fight to be on the top.
Yeah.
What's
that saying? The only problem with the rat race is even if you win, you're still a rat.
That's it. I love that. That is awesome. So get out of the rat race. Just recognise your ego. Recognise the reality of the ego, and recognise that the self will never die. It doesn't die. This ego will die eventually. This physical body will die. But all of this, all the energies that make up who you are, the real self, the real you, there is no time. There's no time. It's endless. It just the atoms just transform, and they just keep going. And depending on what you believe in, you might see yourself come back as something else. There are some religions that do that. Some just your energies just sort of dissipate. Whatever it is that you believe, you believe. But look into ego, and look into finding the real self, and forget about trying to keep up with the rest of the egoic people in the world.
I think that's perfect. I think that's perfect. It's a good one.
Thanks, Amanda. Yeah.
Thanks, Jenny. Bye, people.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. Subscribe, like, subscribe,
comment,
comment. Whatever you want to do. Yeah. Be happy. Bye.